particular story since last week concerning the Integrity Commission and some changes, some staff changes. And then on Friday we reported that letter that Ed Bartlett and Kamina Johnson-Smith wrote jointly to the chairman of the Integrity Commission, retired Justice Carl Lawrence Beswick, and which they copied to the Governor General. There are many ways I could approach this conversation this morning, but I'm just going to take it purely from the reporting side. To tell the listeners that often we say in media that we can't report the full story based on what we know. Tana knows that when I repeat that thing this morning, that statement this morning, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because listeners, what we in this organization know about the motivation behind some of the changes and how certain people at the Integrity Commission came to no longer be at the Integrity Commission, it makes the heart bleed. It is a heavy thing that we have custody of. Makes me feel almost kind of like when they gave Smeagol the ring in Lord of the Ring and he transformed into Gollum because the ring just corrupted him, because the ring was just, that burden of the burden of what we have, which we can't report. And here's why we can't report it. It's not that we don't trust our sources. And trust us, in this case, the trust couldn't be more, the source couldn't be more impeccable. But there are times when you can't use certain things because you will not be able to, if you are challenged, bring forward certain information, because that will have too many implications for the persons who have generously given you information, insight into what is really happening behind the scenes. And we here at Nationwide, we know very well how, in the event of a big story that we report, something of significant public interest, that you get from credible sources, people of impeccable character, people in the fray, and then when it comes to the test, you're left alone like a jilted bride or groom at the altar. Significant other run gone because they must say, boy, listen, I can't stand with you in this case because it's going to mash up my career, my life, and so forth, so forth. So, you're there on your own. We know what that feels like. So, it is a thing that has, for the whole of last week, it has weighed heavily on me. Because even as we report to you what we know, we have to be tiptoeing. Not because you're afraid of people. No, man, it's not in that context. But it's a sensible perspective. Because, listeners, viewers, if I could tell you, you would agree. Say, all right, I see why you do what you do. Yeah? But it just shows you how organized and coordinated certain actions are to achieve a certain outcome. And subsequent developments to us coming into contact with the information from which we shared some things with you earlier in the week have proven to me, not speaking for anybody else, that the assumptions I had about the whole scheme are dead on correct. And we're in trouble as a country. We're in trouble as a country if the quest for power causes men and women to ignore decency, to forget their humanity, and say, power, cost it what it will. So I don't want you to feel as if we don't know what's happening. We do. And one day in the future, I don't know when, I'd love for you to know the full extent of what we know. I know someone out there say, Lord God, Judge, are talking a parable, but it's the best I can do. It's the best I can do under the circumstances. Because if we, Tana, I said to myself, if I had the finances of, say, like, if I was rotten rich, I still wouldn't take the risk of, because it's not just me, it's the other people involved who would be damaged, potentially. So I said to myself, we are, as a country, caught in a situation where the fight for Jamaica, the dog fight for Jamaica, well, it makes no sense to say it's intense because it's a dog fight. It's rough. And people will stop at nothing. And let me tell you this. The one thing that has emerged from this, there are some people who you've heard me say in this chair that, gentlemen of integrity and this of integrity, you will never hear me say that again. There are some people in this country, a couple gentlemen especially, well, 4 of them, based on what we know, you will never hear me. I don't know about anybody else here. Each commentator is under their own steam. But you will never hear me make the mistake of calling those gentlemen's names and integrity in the same sentence. Because we know what we're up to. We know what you've done. We know what you're doing. And a journalist's life is hard. Because for the story and to get things out, you could just shut it and say, report it in the business. Well, you can't do that.